Mike Veale, the disgraced former Chief Constable who had been hired by Leicestershire's Police and Crime Commissioner as an advisor on a wage of over £100,000 a year since at least 2020, has finally taken the hint and stepped down. Veale was in charge of Wiltshire Police at the time of the inquiry into sexual abuse claims against the late former Prime Minister Sir Edward Heath. He then moved into Cleveland Police, which many of you will already know was classed as the worst force in the country for a while. I think that title has now gone to the Met. When he stepped down from Cleveland Police Force in 2019, he left with a gross misconduct investigation hanging over him. However, 4 years later, he is still waiting to go up in front of a misconduct panel. Back in July 2022, Priti Patel, the then Home Secretary, was accused of remaining silent of the issue. It was former Leicestershire Police and Crime Commissioner and a Labour peer, Lord Willie Back, who questioned in the House of Lords, how much longer must this farce go on? You have a twice disgraced ex-Chief Constable awaiting a gross misconduct hearing that by law should have been heard months ago, still advising for good money a Police and Crime Commissioner in holding the Leicestershire Police to account. You couldn't make it up. The Home Secretary is never short of advising on the right and wrong. Why is she and the Home Office so silent on this scandal? Conservative peer Lord Lexden added, "May I remind the House that I have used every means open to me to try to help bring the notorious Mike Veale to book. Ever since, as Chief Constable of Wiltshire, he conducted an appallingly biased investigation of the allegations of sex abuse against Sir Edward Heath. I also remind the House that in Cleveland, where he was Chief Constable, he is due to face a gross misconduct hearing. It was announced a year ago, but has not even started." Meanwhile, Veale lives the life of Riley on £100,000 a year as an advisor to the so-called Conservative PCC for Leicestershire and Rutland, who must have taken leave of his senses. This scandal really must end. May I ask that arrangements be made for a small cross-party group from this House to see the Home Secretary as soon as possible. After Lord Back's comment, Home Office Minister Baroness Williams of Trafford added, "It is a matter for the legally qualified chair to convene a misconduct hearing, usually within 100 days, but it can be longer if the interest of justice will be served, and therefore the legally qualified chair has obviously made a judgment on that. In terms of the issue of Leicester, it is a matter for the Leicester PCC. The government will not intervene in a matter with the PCC." But why? Police and Crime Commissioner idea was dreamed up by government, so surely they should intervene. After all, it's not a good look having a disgraced police chief advising a Police and Crime Commissioner on another police chief. It's a joke. In fact, no one really knows what or why this misconduct hearing is hanging over Mike Veale's head. Now, to be fair, Mike Veale has recently stepped down from his role as advisor for Rupert Matthews, Leicester's PCC, with Rupert Matthews citing continued negative media coverage. No shit. I mean, if you had somebody who worked with kids being told they'd been investigated for something from their last job, you wouldn't be taking them on for a role dealing with kids again, at least not while the investigation is ongoing. It's simply not going to get a very positive response from the public. Some Lords have recently brought this back up again in the House of Lords, such as Tory former Minister Lord Howell of Guildford, saying would they encourage the police to speed up the handling of these misconduct hearings, which have now drifted on so long and so inadequately. With Tory frontbencher Lord Sharp of Epsom adding, "I would certainly encourage them to speed this up." Now, so far, Rupert Matthews and Mike Veale haven't given a toss about the negative press surrounding Matthews' decision to hire Veale on more than 100 grand of public money, so I'm asking myself, why now? Could this be due to the misconduct hearing being now in sight for Mike Veale? Could we be about to find out what his gross misconduct is about and he is preparing himself by leaving his post to protect Rupert Matthews' position? I can't imagine that he has left genuinely because of negative press, as he has faced much of that already and he was still happy to take several £100,000 of public money. I think something is brewing and I think the government actually need to step in and say enough's enough, this has gone on for far too long and is yet again damaging public trust in the police. It's still a waiting game for now though, but if there is any information that comes out, I will certainly bring that to you.